Hi, I'm Brad Power, and this is the Cancer Patient Lab, Prostate Cancer Lab. And we have a special session today with Tal and Yuval of Berries, an Israeli startup that's developing apps and services for cancer patients. And they're interested in getting some feedback from us today. But before we start, I just want to read our standard disclaimers, which are two. One is, this is for information purposes only. There's no medical advice here, even less so today, probably. No medical advice is being intended. You should consult with your medical experts and practitioners and your medical team to get medical advice, but this might give you some ideas. And the second thing is that everything that we say here will be made public. So don't say anything you don't want being made public. If you want to be anonymous, hide your image, change your name, and don't say anything. So that's the just so you know what we're going. This will all be published and made available on the web. So with that, I'll turn it over to Yuval and Tal.
That's great. So first off, it's Yuval, Tal, and Yam. Yam is also part of the founding team and is here with us. So it's a pleasure meeting you all, and I'm very excited to be here to share our vision and to learn from your experience. So I guess Tal, maybe you'll share the slides.
Yes, sharing my screen.
Great.
All right, you see it, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
We'll have a little intro. We'll tell you about ourselves a little bit and what we're about to do, what we're doing, and then we'll just be happy to have an open discussion and answer your questions and learn from you. So at Berries, we are aiming to improve cancer patients' healing journey. It all started when my dad had prostate cancer, actually. And now he's fine. Now he's after treatment, and it seems like it worked, and he's recovering, basically. And I saw how hard it is to be a cancer patient, but not just because of the obvious reason that you're sick and unwell, but also because of the fact that you need to run this whole operation, and you need to navigate your way through this journey. And you need to handle a lot of stuff that you don't even know about when you start. And you have all of these benefits or things that you can get and you don't know about them. And it basically became my mom's full-time job, and it made her very busy. And we thought maybe we can build an AI tool that can help people manage the recovery journey and guide them through the recovery journey, and also automate tasks for them and just help them in the journey and let them focus on healing. So that's basically what we aim to do. And I'll give you a little some details about ourselves. So we are a high-tech team from Israel. We all have a background in the industry. I'm Yuval, I'm the CEO.
I'm Tal, the COO. It's a pleasure to be here, guys, with you.
Hey, and I'm Yam, I'm the CTO, and thank you for your time. Yeah. Okay, guys, so I'll take it from here. We would like to ask you 3 simple questions and to get to know a bit about your problems. So if Yuval, you can click the link. Okay, so if you can raise your hand if you felt overwhelmed or uncertain about the next step in your cancer journey. Anyone? Okay, thank you. Okay, next question. Raise your hand if you experienced financial stress or felt unsure about the financial benefits available during this challenging time. Anyone? No? Okay, it's good to know. And last question. Okay, so raise your hand if you felt too drained or unwell to navigate paperwork, seek out benefits, or optimize your journey. No one. Okay. Okay, so thank you for cooperation and we'll
I
consider.
don't think he's seeing the icons.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay, I opened it quickly. Okay.
Yeah.
So you would you take it from here?
Yeah, some of the participants raised their hands, some not, and it's totally fine. So what we're about to do and what we are doing right now is first off, the first step when we meet the patients, we try to have more clarity in their journey, and we'll try to guide them and to create a personalized guidance for them. So we meet them, we understand their specific situation, specific needs, and understand what they've already been through and what is expected to come in the future. And we create guidance in all kinds of topics like legal, finance, insurance, stuff you should know about, stuff you should do, and it's tailored for every specific individual. And after that, you get access to our platform. You can see everything there, and every task that we told you we told you you should do or should be aware of, we can help you with it. Our care team can help you with it and can get it done for you or with you. And our goal, as I said at the beginning, is to just make your life easier and have more clarity and then do the things for you and just let you focus on healing while we deal with the rest. In terms of pricing, the platform and the personalized guidance is for free, and then the second part of actually executing the task for you is it depends on the specific case and the specific task, and we'll be getting to details in the consulted meetings. That's basically what we have. We also have a dashboard where you can manage all of your tasks, and you can upload files to have one repository of all of your files in order to communicate with us and also to arrange everything in one place. That's basically it. And as I said, step 3 is just to focus on healing. You have plenty of things to deal with, and we would love to just take the load out of your shoulders, and handle it for you. So that's basically our vision, and we would love to answer some questions and learn more from your experience. Where are the areas that you felt like you would love to get some help in, and yeah, that's basically it.
So we often use the raise hand feature for people to submit questions. Brian's up first. So here's Brian McCluskey. He's a co-founder of Cancer Patient Lab.
Hi, Yuval. It's great to meet you. I apologize I was late. Of course, I had the auto update with my Microsoft suite, so I was locked out of the meeting for a while. Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate what you're doing. We've had a few patients recently who, were in sort of like the end of life stage, and we're all advanced prostate cancer patients, stage 4. Where cure is it's a hope, but it's not there now. What kind of services do you provide for sort of like planning for those your family members, whatever, that are gonna live on beyond our demise? Probably that's not the best question to ask right out of the gate, but it's real. And you know, we recently lost a couple of folks, and so it's definitely top of mind for me.
Definitely, that's a great question. So as part of our guidance, we try to help and guide in all of the aspects that patients care about, and it's definitely one of the things that come up when we have meetings with patients. We try to provide with some legal help, like helping creating a will or a living will, in order to set it up. But you mean when you ask the question, like if our tool can be helpful for people, for the families to handle with all of the load, like
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, well, so yeah, I'll be a little bit more tactical. So, you know, we had one patient, you know, reach out regarding funeral services. Hey, you know, I things are getting tough. I need help with funeral services. And then even, you know, celebrations of life for those individuals, that all those things fall upon our caregivers and their family. You know, if you've got young kids, for example, that, you know, maybe are, you know, haven't even reached their college years or in college, right? There's the whole financial component of being able to support them. So you mentioned the will, of course, you know, I'm sure that there are a lot of patients that need help with that. So those are the types of things. Some of them can be very tactical, right? But nobody's really thinking about those things, you know, until sort of the bitter end. And
Yeah.
at least we've seen that. And so
If I could just
wanna make
interject,
sure- Yeah.
I just want to interject quickly with one small thing for the Berries team to look at. We had a session run by one of our patients talking about CaringBridge and other online communication tools. And what I heard in some of what Brian was just saying is you can have an ongoing conversation with a set of friends and family who care about you and want to know what's going on. And then I could imagine as you reach end of life, you could be having almost pre-packaged messages. This is the message I want to send out after I pass, or something like that. Anyway, so the notion that you have a caring community that you have sort of pre-wired is if you haven't considered that, would be a feature that would be valuable to people.
Yeah.
Anyway,
definitely.
go back and answer Brian's question. I'm sorry.
It's great questions, and I just want to stress, we want to be the one-stop shop for cancer patients, in terms of we want to help cancer patients in whatever they need. And if we'll figure out that they need us to help them to deal with these kind of things, and we'll be able to take this load over their shoulders, or to guide them in this kind of specific areas, we will definitely do that. And that's what we're here for. We're here to learn from your experience, what kind of things you think are valuable, and to take it under our consideration.
So let's just kind of dig into that a little bit more. If you could maybe talk a little bit about your operating model. So the way that we operate is almost like a crowdsourcing way, where we have strategic partners that help us to provide, you know, analytic services, for example, or you know, diagnostic services. So do you provide, are all of your resources, say, let's say a lawyer, are they in-house? Do you farm that out? How does your model work?
Yeah, that's also a good question. It depends. It depends on the tasks. We have a care team that might be able to handle this in-house, and if needed, we'll be connecting to some outsource. We will outsource the request. It all depends on the specific request, and to be honest, probably some of the requests we'll say that we can't handle it right now, because it's just not in our scope.
Mm-hmm.
we're pretty early, so we're trying to help in whatever we can, but there are some things that probably we won't be able to help you with.
Okay, that's fine. And maybe that creates partnership opportunities for us where, we're working with certain groups, individuals, or companies that provide some of these services that our patients need. We could talk about that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
I just want to interject, Brian, my characterization of Berries where they are now is
Mhm.
they have some ideas and they've built some functionality, but mostly they are so early that it's not like asking questions, do you have that service? It's more like
Mhm.
asking us, what service would you like? And then if everybody raises their hand and says, we want that, then they would go build it. So
Awesome.
they're at that early, product
Neat.
market fit stage where they're building things and they're listening to us today to figure out what would be valuable. So
Okay.
just to underline what you said, it's not only the newly diagnosed patient, but it could be the patient who's end of life, and that's a different persona. And that might have a different set of needs. And they might say, oh, well, we're going to be focusing more on people who are just diagnosed, not late stage. But that's the kind of choice that they have to make.
Yeah.
Or if, as Yuval was saying, if they're going for the full life cycle, then they need to have both.
Yep. So it needs assessment.
Yeah, just to set the stage. This is more of that's why they didn't give a long demo of their services. It's more like listening for what, within the context of what they're trying to do, what services might be valuable.
Got it.
Okay.
Right.
So Richard's up next. We've got 4 hands. Richard.
I'm not so sure I should be the next one to go. I have a very broad overview of what you're up against. First of all, you notice that most of the hands did not come up when you said, do you feel overwhelmed? You're talking to a very select group of people who are really interested, really deeply engaged. This is not a cross-section of patient population at all. So I don't think you can make any use of that small survey from this small sample here. Secondly, and I'll address Yuval, but I think it's neat that you have your core team here. You, in the way you presented your own personal story about your parents, presented evidence that shows that you're probably talking to the wrong audience. And you pointed out about how overwhelmed your mother was and how she handled all this. You'll notice there are no women on the call. You've got aggressive men who are really high-powered, in industry, an MD, a dentist, or whatever. Here, this is not your sample. And typically, guys, and I do a lot of work in the psychology of men and masculinity and so forth, men will use denial as an effective way to deal with problems they can't solve. And I see some guys nodding yes. So in that situation, and there's been a lot of research on this, not mine, but a lot of going back that the partners, typically our data is mostly from female partners, step in. And so often the information folks who are trying to figure out what are we going to do about a funeral, if we're going to go to that point, there's not going to be the patient. They don't even know what's happening to them. They're in such bad shape at that point. The partners. So there's nothing about your approach that mentioned that how would you strategically go after the partners? And if you think that is worth exploring, I'd be happy to have a longer open discussion with you or the 3 of you to strategize, because that is a problem. I mean, we see this as a man's thing, but there's so much evidence to show that the guys in every way depend on their partners. And I will say this and end with this. Working so closely with so many patients over these years, I've dealt with hundreds of prostate cancer patients on hormonal therapy. I will not deny a denier the right to deny. So in that sense, and thank you, David, for smiling at that. I mean, that is the psychological reality of it. So now you have to, if you're going to make this work, I think, reach the partners, and then I will add one last thing. The patient's attitude is going to be massively influenced by what they know. Yuval, your dad had prostate cancer. If somebody knows nobody who's had prostate cancer, they're going to have one perspective. If somebody's had 3 friends and relatives and fathers, brothers, whatever, die of it, they're going to have a wholly different perspective. And in that sense, you can't just come up with a general approach to everyone. I look at the question about putting out a will. I'm not really, I have a will actually, but I mean, that's not my position. So you're going to have to find the right people at the right time and approach them at the right way. And I can say that's also true for ADT. If you try to tell someone about the ADT managing the side effects, hormonal therapy, that is, who's on active surveillance, it's meaningless. You're trying to talk to a patient who's already diabetic, massively depressed, overweight from these drugs, it's too late. So you have to reach the right patients or the right population. It's going to be the women, and it's going to have to be finely tuned. You don't start with questions like, what's your financial status? You start with, what is your major problem at this time? Who's handling it? And we can talk about that later, but I think you get my main concern. I'll stop there.
No, thank you, Richard. That was it's true. I mean, there are two kinds of potential users in our platform. It could be the caregiver in a lot of cases, but not everyone is fortunate enough to have a caregiver. So sometimes it will be the patient. But you're completely right. In a lot of cases, it will be the caregiver, and also finding the right point to that patients need us the most. It's also a valid point that we think about. And yeah, everything you said is definitely insightful.
Well, you can contact me if you want to extend the conversation strategically. I'd be happy to explore with you how to make this work.
Sure.
Thank you, Bob.
That.
Before we go to the next hand up, which is Jeff, I just want to cue Noelle, who on cue, Richard, joined. She's a caregiver for her husband, Phil, and she's the representative of the persona that you identified. I don't know if Noelle, you just overheard this conversation. What would you say is unique about your perspective, just to fill us in on that, just briefly, if you don't mind?
Hi, sorry for joining late. What's unique about my perspective? I try to take a lot of the pressure off Phil because he still works full time and wants to do that. And I guess my perspective is, I'm not the patient. I don't go through all the things he does. And while he's my spouse and I think we're very close, I still don't really know how much he actually shares with me. I've been around enough other male cancer patients to indicate that they don't share absolutely everything with their spouse. They do hide a lot. So while I think I know him well and what he's going through, I don't know that I do. And I guess that's the one thing I can say about caregiving that makes it difficult. I go in and I try to look, at everything that's best, and I can give suggestions, but in the end, it all has to be, Phil's decision. And yeah, the ADT stuff, I don't know what that's like. I can hear about it. I see him, but I'm pretty sure he goes through a lot more than what he shares with me. ADT is hard, and Phil's been on it for over 5 years now.
I should mention that Noelle is, if I remember correctly, Noelle, you're a nurse in your regular job?
Actually, no, I am a retired corrections officer. So kind of the opposite. But I do, I am part of the community advisory board for UW Harborne Cancer Center in Madison. It's where we originally started as patients. So we have quarterly meetings. I am involved with that. I haven't gotten as involved as I would like to be yet. COVID kind of slowed a lot of things down. So all of our meetings are still virtual. We haven't even really gotten together as a group. It's just been hard. They take people from all over the state of Wisconsin. So it's been hard to find a time when everyone can get together, but I do serve on that board, and I'm very active with PCF, doing a lot of the fundraising and different activities.
For our Israeli friends, that's Prostate Cancer Foundation, which is the 800-pound gorilla in the prostate cancer space of research and funding. Thanks, Noelle. Jeff Dwyer, you're up next with a question. You're on mute, Jeff.
Unmute. Hello, guys. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'll make this quick. I'm 4 years into this cancer journey and I'm 76 years old. So I'm an older guy. I'm looking at you three guys. You're all young from my perspective. And so I'm trying, while you were talking about what you were thinking about, I kept thinking about what I would have wanted if I'd been diagnosed, like some of the friends I have who have been diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer, but have lucked out, in my opinion, that they in a combination of digging into their disease, they've made it chronic. I have two friends that have been on ADT for almost 20 years, and they have made it their disease is chronic. I know that if it had hit me 20 years ago, there's certain things that I did that I'm glad I did, but some of my friends have not. And I'll just give you a suggestion. If you pick up in your organization somebody that's in their 40s that has just been diagnosed with prostate cancer, you should have, I believe, some background information for them in long-term care insurance. I have no idea what is available out there today. I bought my policy 22 years ago because, always having been an entrepreneur, there was no safety net for me. If my project shit the bed and I ran out of money, that was it. So I had to have something to pay the rent, pay the utilities. And to me, 22 years ago, it was long-term care policy. So I bought a policy that no longer exists through General Electric. They gotten out of that business. They sold it to Genworth, but it was the Cadillac policy. And I don't even know if it's offered now, but right now for me, at this point in my life, when I'm slowly dying from this disease, I have caregivers that my long-term care policy is paying for. And over the years, 22 years, I choked out that premium annually. And I'm so glad I did now, because when I basically made the the claim for it, I always doubt that insurance companies are ever going to pay you properly, but this outfit did. So I pay out of my checkbook for my services, and then I submit a form, upload it, and I'm reimbursed within a couple of weeks. This is for caregivers, for nurses, for medical, for people that come in. And the way I structured it at that time, it was available. The benefit increased 5% a year. So my benefit went back then, 22 years ago, they measured it, what would it cost in a nursing home that could happen to any one of us guys with advanced prostate cancer. Back then it was $200 a day. Now it's $500 a day. So I took the option to have my benefit increased annually by 5%. Well, now that benefit, instead of being a few $100s a day, is $565 a day, 30 days in a month, a year. It's a couple $100,000 a year that's available for me. It's not coming in as income. It's coming in as straight benefit to pay for my healthcare. And if I was a cancer patient just starting out in my journey, not when I got diagnosed at 71 years old, but in my journey in my 40s, I would be hoping it isn't one of the aggressive strains, because everybody's prostate cancer is different. But if it wasn't, it would really benefit me 20 years later to have gotten long-term care. That's an insurance product, so you can probably get somebody that will partner on with you, that will know all about it and what's available in your country, if it's available in Israel, if it's available in UK and Canada, I don't know. I know it's available in the United States, and I'm really pleased I got it. So that's all I wanted to tell you, was you're going to be looking at people that sign up, that are going to be active surveillance. And if that's what they've got, active surveillance, get them to a long-term care insurance provider pretty quick. Because I know, having dinner parties over the past 20 years with artist friends of mine who had no money, I kept telling them, squeak out a payment to a long-term care policy. None of them did. And artists are the worst. They just don't. They think they're going to live forever. And anyway, that's my suggestion at this point. So and I've got other things to tell you, but I can't do it right now. Yeah, the other thing is, as Paul will probably tell you, Van Camp, he's a veteran, I'm a veteran. I'm leaving in about 10 minutes to go to the Veterans Administration to pick up a set of free hearing aids. I didn't even pay attention to it when I left the military, but there's a bunch of services that the veterans are, including what they offer to prostate cancer survivors, but free hearing aids, free eye exams and eyeglasses. And kind of the light bulb went on the other day, and a month ago I asked them if they'd give me hearing aids, and they said, yeah, come on up. So I happen to have a veterans hospital near where I live. So it's, this is all stuff for the guy that just found out he got diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he's on active surveillance, not for the ones that are farther along in their care because they couldn't get the insurance by then. Insurance companies don't want them. But if they're on active surveillance, there's a good chance they can. So
Jeff, would help navigating the VA have been helpful?
Yeah, probably would have. I was macho. I thought that, I didn't do much in the Navy except hide for 4 years. So I just kind of felt, let the guys that really put in something for it, use it. And then I thought, well, man, why don't I ask what's up there? So I probably, if somebody had told me what was there, would have helped. I mean, it's a 10-minute drive from my house. I thought, well, I've always been involved with trying to sell something. I'm not going to take it away from some guys that actually put in a lot more during their military service than I did. So, but it would have helped. There's no doubt about that.
Thank you for sharing, Jeff.
Yeah, I think what Jeff is giving you an insight to is the unique characteristics of the American reimbursement system or insurance or health payments system, which is unique, I think. Rick's waving goodbye. He has to go get some tests he's got. I don't know if look in the chat. Good luck, Rick.
Thanks. Yeah, I hope my hematocrit stays above 9. And I'm excited that I got approved by Macrogenics. So I'm hopping on this. Yuval and Tal, thank you so much. I really like what you're doing. I like your vibe even more because I know you're early in your journey. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope we can hang out more.
Hey, Rick, just that's awesome news. And Rick, this is kind of another like pioneering treatment targeting B7H3. So obviously you're going to want to keep us up to date. Maybe we even want to carve out a special section on Circle for what you're experiencing. So take some mental notes.
I hope my hematocrit.
Wish you all the best. Thank you for being here.
It's not a done deal that this will be a qualification visit too. Why do you have to do the labs again? I was like just above. You got to do them again.
You're gonna be fine. Yeah, think positively.
Doctors are vampires.
Thank you guys. Take care.
All right, good luck.
Good luck, Rick.
Jeffrey, I just want to make something clear. You mentioned that you don't know how is it in Israel or Canada or UK, but there is like we plan to launch in the US, and all our research is regarding to the US system. So we're here for you. It's important to mention.
And just so for those who don't know what Brian was pointing out, what Rick is going for is a biomarker that he identified through some of the kinds of exceptional testing that we have. It was identified through RNA-seq. Is that correct, Brian?
Yes, he has a very high expression of B7H3 CD276, and the treatment is an antibody drug conjugate. And so I know, anyway, so it's cutting edge for sure. But hopefully he's a good candidate because I think he's in the 90+ percentile across 1,000 prostate cancer patients for B7H3. So hopefully this is gonna help.
And again, for the Berries team, just to get a sense, reinforcing what Richard was saying, this is an exceptional group of people that are, very like on the cutting edge of treatments, both diagnostics and both diagnostics and of treatments. So Bob Germankin's up next.
Okay, so just three things. One is another audience you'll need to look at is children of patients. I see on the Facebook prostate cancer, support group, tons and tons of mostly women asking questions about their dad. So that's a big target. The other thing is, I don't know if you've ever looked at, there is a platform called Cake. Actually, it's joincake.com. And they do a lot of stuff with end of life. They things like end of life documents, memorials, creating a will. And then the other thing they do, which I've done separately, is a digital will. So for all your online life, what to do with all that and how to handle that. That's something that probably 5 or 6 years ago, not too many would think about, but it's important now. So those were the 3 items.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Any other comments or, okay, got that. All right, next up is Paul Van Camp. Paul? We were seeing him, and then just when I thought he was going to be unmuting.
I'm sorry, I was muted.
There we go.
My question is about navigating treatment decisions at all stages. And I'm not sure if your business is addressing all cancers in all persons or just prostate. We're very prostate cancer specific, and that territory is hard enough. So a lot of men don't have optimal oncology teams in their decision making. And a lot of men do not participate very actively and don't ask questions when they're to their doctors, or they may be seeing their urologists that they've been seeing since way back when, who's really not versed on the state of the art of prostate cancer therapy at various stages, and they're getting suboptimal treatment. And then again, as was mentioned, a lot of times it's a family member who's doing the navigating and inquiring about treatment decision points and optimal choices. And so this requires, first of all, defining what's the standard of care as it's known, what the established, generally accepted best care as a baseline. And then these in our country, in the US, is pretty much embodied in the NCCN guidelines for prostate cancer treatment and for other cancers. And I don't know if there's an equivalent in England and Europe and in Canada, but I know there's differences in which treatments can be accessed. So you have all of that, and it probably would be good to have a module or a service that can link people up with second opinions from now that telemedicine is more widely available. This is easier in many cases than having to go get on an airplane and fly to some major center of excellence to speak with, the best minds in medicine and in prostate cancer treatment. So you have all of that. And then you have another arena, which is clinical trials. How do you find clinical trials that are applicable to your particular case? It's a navigation problem. And And so search engines, or maybe an AI bot that could take a person's history and state and what treatments they failed on and what their genetic profile is, et cetera, and integrate that with clinical trials that may be accessible to them by geography and by criteria in their medical record, and spit out, okay, here's clinical trials that you may be eligible for and you should consider. And then moving a step beyond that, non-standard of care options, excellent treatments, possibly superior treatments that have not yet been integrated into the standard of care. And many here in this group are on non-standard of care options. You can call them experimental therapies, as I am. How do you navigate those possibilities and weigh them? You may not want to go into that. That's difficult because you're talking about things that have risks, and the benefits have not yet been absolutely proved in clinical trials. And yet, as many of us are examples, we want to avail ourselves of the best possible treatments, weighing the risks, and knowing that the standard of care is an ever-moving target. I call it the raggedy edge of the standard of care. So how do you help people navigate their treatment decisions?
So you made some great points, and we would definitely try to tackle these issues. We need to see how exactly, but helping people to find a good second opinion is something that we think can be very valuable. Also, helping them finding clinical trials is something that we think may be very valuable. Just like you said, and yeah, it's something that we want to do, and it's great that you said that, because it just enforced our hunch or in our direction on that. And what I wanted to add is that there is this issue with providing medical advice. So we need to understand how exactly we can help without play doctors. But I think we definitely want to help in this direction. But just to be honest, our first focus right now is more in the operational side, less on the medical side. Like, just do things for you in terms of helping you with finance, or helping you apply for all kinds of plans that might help you, or connect you to the right nonprofits, find the right insurance for you. So this is the first direction that we think about currently. But these medical navigation that you mentioned are definitely precious. I know it's firsthand, and we definitely consider it.
I just wanted to mention, Brian had said before, I'm sharing my screen, and you can see the, for example, treatment options. This is the matching, the number 12 here. And here are service providers we've identified to provide those services, including clinical trials like Massive Bio, whom we work with. And anyway, so this is a services guide that we have where we have identified service providers for some of these things. So as you said, you might outsource some. So we have something that you might start with.
That's great.
If you were looking for that kind of outsourcing. And Brian's up next. Brian, maybe you want to comment on that, or you had another question.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Complimentary to that. Are you all familiar with Nancy's List? So we had Nancy Novak, excuse me, speak. I'm putting it in the chat. And she was helping us understand ways to navigate the financial aspects of managing cancer. And she came up from the standpoint, like, the cancer patient should not have to worry at all about any financial component of their care. It's just like, take it off the table. And that was her mission. She's a cancer survivor. And so anyway, so she came up with Nancy's list. And so I just put in the chat her website, and then also the session that she had with us back in December. So you might want to check that out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
think David commented in the chat, and I just wanted to talk about that, about questions to the doctor. So it's a great point, and it's something that is already in our guidance, and we can share it with you if you'd like.
Yeah, we've got about 10 minutes left in our session, and I think we've run out of questions. So if there's anything that you want to do, this is your chance. If you had, something you want to demo or other questions you want to ask.
No, I don't think so. We would just first off want to thank you for dedicating your time to help us and to share your experience and to give us some interesting angles. And we would share a link, and if anyone wants to meet with us just to chat or to have this personalized guidance and to see how we can help through the journey, it's also something that we would love to do. Maybe Tal or Riam want to add something?
Yeah, just before that, I think Richard want to ask something or say something.
No, I want to thank you. And I'm in Canada, so many of these things do not apply. I mean, we have a somewhat of a socialized medical system here. It's not nearly as good as the veterans hospitals in the United States, but which is actually better than the Canadian healthcare system. But guys, feel free to contact me, because I think there's strategic ways to get your product to the right audience, and that's a big issue. There's so many resources out there. You didn't mention this, but the average patient can look into YouTube and put in prostate cancer, and by the time they've got a few thousand hits, they just walk away in bewilderment. So the issue is going to be really targeting and finding your right audience to present to, not the product as much as getting the right place. And I'll be happy to talk to you about as well. As for what questions to ask your doctors, I mean, this doesn't pertain to you, but I have strategies and gambits that I know work, and I'd be happy to give 2 minutes to that if Brad is comfortable with that after you guys clear off the call.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
David Plunkett has his hand up.
I'll add on to that by saying that's pretty much the way I started my learning process when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, was whatever I could find online. To the Berries group, I'll just say, I expect you're going to spend a lot of time examining what's already available, what's already out there, but try not to reinvent the wheel. You're looking to provide something that works better, but you don't need to reinvent the whole thing.
Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, I think I will add up to what Yuval said. Just thank you very much for your time, and we really wish you the best and hope to stay in touch with whoever would be interested in it. And yeah, thank you very much.